I've been tasked with just giving the very brief introduction to websites before we have a few presenters who will go into more detail. But I'm just going to start a few slides. So I think we all know this is a blog. You've seen this format before. It's got categories on the side, it's got a post, it's got the about and all the sort of links across that bar, but this is also a blog. And this is actually a blog too. And so is this. So when I started using a blog in my research, blogs kind of all looked the same. And in fact, one of the dangers of doing research using sort of digital technologies, digital methods, is that you have this feeling that like you have this great idea, and then by the time it gets through your review committee and your ethics approval and stuff like that, have you missed it? So when I started thinking about using blogs in research, blogs were the thing. They were, millions of blogs being created every day. By the time I actually started my project, blogging was kind of like 2 years ago. But one of the reasons I'm talking about blogs is because they've actually proven to be one of the platforms that actually has adapted with the times. So blogs have gone from, well, we still have this blog, but what we've realized is that websites that used to take a lot of expertise, quite a bit of money to build, actually, we can do a lot of that with blogs. And the difference between blogs and websites really isn't as great as it once was. And we've got people here who are going to talk to you about how you can actually go and create your own blog/website. But I guess what I wanted to do is just, we have people who have different experience in this room show that it's really not that big of a step to get started, and you can do something that, even if it's not the fanciest website out there, is still somewhat professional. Basically, blog, the word comes from weblog. I mean, it's the idea of an online journal. The basic characteristics of a blog are that it's easily updated and that content goes up in chronological order. So when you put up new content, the old content stays there, but it drops down the page or drops onto the next page. So basically, that's the idea behind a blog. Is if you need something that you're going to update on a regular basis, you're really talking about a blog. If you need something that's static, that's more of a website. Original online material, I think. Maybe 3 ways that I think are probably applicable to the use of blogs in this room is you can have a personal website, you can have blogs that are used to communicate within a research team, and then you've got blogs that are used to communicate your research outside your research community. So we've seen examples of all of those today. I show you the example from my PhD project. This is my current blog because I'm looking for a job. So this is my blog/website. It cost me about £20 by the time I registered the name. But really, the rationale for doing this was because I realized that I just moved here from Canada. I have a 1-year position here. Basically, I needed some control over my online presence, and I could no longer rely on my host institution, my PhD program to do that for me. Basically, by the time I got a website built here at the School for Sport and Exercise, the job would be over, right? Meanwhile, I could no longer rely on my former program to keep my page there current and updated. So I created a page that I can very easily update. I spend about 10 minutes on it each week, making sure my CV is up to date, making sure that the profile there aligns with the jobs that I'm applying for, making sure that basically that it's current. And that when people go searching for me, they don't find something that's out of date. The other point I'm going to leave you with is we have a lot of concerns, I think, especially as early career researchers, and we talked about them today, about what are people going to find when they see us online, and what are they going to think about that? And we've talked about, can you joke on Twitter? Should you use it only for work? There's an interesting report published in Forbes recently that says, yes, employers do look to see what you post on Facebook as much as they can. They do look to see what you post on Twitter. And that can be you might not get an interview if they don't like what you see. But most suspicious of all is if you have no online presence. If they can't find you online, that is the biggest detrimental effect. It is more advantageous for them to see you on Facebook or on Twitter joking with friends than to find nothing at all. Because at least they'll go, this person has friends. That's not a bad start.
This might be a little bit technical, but you just jump in with questions when you want. So the idea is, you probably heard of HTML, and you're building your own websites and so on. In the past, that's how people, it used to be very complicated. People had to go to a programmer and so on. Nowadays, we just have these platforms that we can plug into, or work with content management systems. So as we know, things are getting a lot easier and less complicated nowadays. But still, there's a lot of doubts of whether people can actually launch onto it without having any knowledge at all. So, and as Andrea was saying, it's not that difficult. So here we've got the three main platforms that are used for developing websites. So what I'm talking about here is building your own personal profile website, but also going a little bit further sometimes when you need to build something a bit more sophisticated for your project. So building more applications or interactivity into your websites. So depending on what you need is the platform that you would use. But all these three, the WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal, are free open source platforms that can be used. There's lots of templates and styles that you can choose. And the beauty of these systems is that they work with modules, so in a modular way. So you can obtain plugins and widgets and so on, and customize it in the way that you want, so according to your needs. So what I normally do when somebody comes to me for a website is I recommend to start with, for advice, I would recommend to start with templates. So using templates cuts a lot of, expenses, but also a lot of time. You've got a lot of work that's been done already by the programmers and designers, and you have tons of styles to choose from. So you can really flick through different websites that offer templating, and depending on the platform that you choose, whether it's Joomla or WordPress, you've got lots of different ones to choose from. This is an example of a personal page. They're getting very sophisticated now, and very inexpensive as well. So we've got one there. As you can see, it's very clean. You can have photo galleries, a lot of interactivity with text. This is like a timeline where you can post your CV, but you can also have blogs, postings going on there, and so on. Let's go back here. Oops. And we'll have a look at that one. Oh, okay, broken. But this is one of the platforms, for instance, Ivato Market, where you can go and find different packages, so themes for your CMS platform that you choose. There is normally they're normally classified under here. There's tons of things in there that you can count on. For instance, that's WordPress, and you also have graphic resources. So if you need logos, or I don't know, if you need to quickly make a leaflet, a poster presentation of whatever else, you've got lots of things in there, lots of templates that you can use. So as you can see, the prices are not extortionate for having something as we just seen. It's a little bit of money, but sometimes I mean, when you compare these to what it used to cost to get a website of this quality with that interactivity built, it's very economical. So some of you might be keen to get started and so on, but you know, and at the sort of beginning level, but some might actually enjoy the process of building a website and want to find out more. So I put there some resources for you to take away. These 2 books are very good. They're very visual and simple to follow with very easy exercises. And even if you're not programming your website, it's very useful to at least know some HTML and CSS markups, because in blogs and so on, you know, you can control a little bit the way that things look, change colors and so on, a little bit further than what the editor window will give you. So just having a quick look at these kind of things can help to make you feel confident while you're customizing and so on. And then there is obviously online tutorials and tons of things that you can look at in YouTube and so on that make it really easy to follow and get you into the subject.
Hello, I'm Luis, and I'm a research associate here at the design school. And after those brilliant presentations, I'm just gonna say a few words about how I used internet tools to build the tools that I needed on my project, and mainly using WordPress and websites to host the things that I needed to my research. My PhD was based like in 3 phases. I was observing users to develop an application, and that was the easiest part of my PhD. I took years doing that, and then developing was quite easy because we have these tools online. And then I had a user observation study to evaluate what I created there. And I was using mobile phone apps to understand people's behaviors in the kitchen, how they cook, how much electricity they use, and if an app could give them tips on how to behave more sustainably, how to save energy. And here's a picture of one participant using the app, another one there. So they were cooking noodles, following instructions for energy saving. And since I had the timers, I needed some functionalities in the app. I kind of developed, this is quite for like, just to look like techie on a thesis, on my thesis. Is structure. You can use a structured diagram with anything. We can open PowerPoint and decide, oh, I need a page like that, and the flow of the app or the web page you're designing. And the final result were this kind of screens I had for my app. And it looks like a native app, but it was in fact just a mobile site. I hosted it on a server, and you can access from your browser. It looked like that. But it was just to pretend that it was a website, a mobile phone app, but much simpler and quicker to develop and to test, and everyone can download it. Yeah, I had several screens here, and now I'm using another website as well to this app. We are now testing, starting tomorrow with this app. It's an app that is already developed with engine to detect modes if you're traveling by train or car or walking, and it gives you this screen with the modes and your carbon used. And what we developed here is one page to be before when the user start the app, and it can add comments and submit it and read all the comments. It looks like those 2 pages kind of look similar to the proper app, but those are, again, web pages that I built using WordPress, so Laura just spoke about. And Andrea as well use it. So, in fact, this one is a kind of a blog tool, is a comment box similar to what we have in blogs. So I remove everything else and just use the comment box and the comments displaying here for the user. So it's basically using the tools that we already have. And to the technical aspect of it, I use a domain name register service called GoDaddy, and it's the most used worldwide. You just type in a domain name that you want to have for your research. For example, a couple of months ago, we registered the domain name for this project here with Becky, and it was quite quick. We paid £10 a year to have this domain name to be unique to the project. And the hosting, I use DreamHost for having the pages physically hosted in a web space. And Laura use Crystal, and both are quite good, reliable, and cheap. And for designing that website and the mobile website I use, is a package from Adobe called Dreamweaver, the software I think we can have here at the university. I install it on my computer. And I use a book as well to understand a bit of the HTML, the language, the CSS, how things are going to look on the sites to change everything I need. And there's a book quite well known for you to design your mobile phone site that looks like an app. And yeah, the WordPress is most widely used content management system. And there's a lot of forums, a lot of advice you can get online. So I'm always trying to sort some, like to set up things that I need. So I go to forums, I just search, or I ask questions, and I get how to design it properly for my needs. And that's it. If you have questions, thank you.